The anime begins with a guy called Bai. He's the dumbest white-haired loser on Earth and is the only person of this realm who is still stuck on the same level 1, and he's been stuck there for over 3,000 years just like a disgusting noob. And he's desperate to find a breakthrough in this world of magic to prove he's worthy. In this world, there are different realms, and we see that Bai was in the Establishment Foundation realm when he was still a kid. 3,000 years later, there was an attack on the Sword Sect realm by Thunder Beasts, and one of the clan members thought he could take out all of the beasts alone like Naruto. But the poor loser just got isekai'd to hell with a lightning bolt. Multiple people die within seconds as they are struck by lightning. Just then, the King Ming Sword Sect leader, named Yunzi, appears and fights the beasts. With his ultimate skills, he thought he could solo the entire pack of beasts, but he wet his pants the moment he saw how many there were. Yunzi realizes that the beasts are very powerful after he assesses the damage they have caused, and he orders all of his men to attack just so he could protect his sorry ass. Meanwhile, a person is seen watching and enjoying the fight from a tree, giving off a smirky smile. Elsewhere, the loser Bai was working on his powers in the Kai Refining Realm establishment, and he demonstrates his immense power that actually reaches the sky. However, it soon dies down, and from the enormous hole in the sky falls down a huge wave of water. After he was left gasping for air and catching his breath, he gets angry at the Immortals because 3,000 years have passed and he still has not reached the Foundation Establishment realm. Bai steps out and hears loud noises coming from the bottom of the hill, and Yunzi realizes that they cannot fight all of them, so he sends someone to fetch Bai from Mount 7 Star. However, he meets him midway as Bai uses a cableway since he cannot fly. He seems irritated at the sight of him flying. Bai takes his sword and jumps down, leaving him stranded. Just when everyone is tired of fighting, a whistle forces the Thunder Beasts to fall back. At that moment, a man emerges from the smoke and Yunzi recognizes him as the Supreme Elder of the Demon Sect, Huangfu Feng. He reveals that he passed the test of immortality and now wants to improve himself further, so he commands to battle the Swordmaster. But Yunzi refuses as Bai is focusing on cultivation and retreat. Huangfu reveals how he sent the beasts first, which angers Yunzi and causes him to attack. But he falls back as the demon demonstrates great power. Just then, Bai made an epic landing, causing severe damage to the land. The demon leaves no chance to show off, making him insecure of his powers. He refuses to fight Huangfu as there is no point, but Bai is baffled at how a demon is also in the Great Realm when he isn't. However, his insults make him angry, so he decides to fight him. They both wreak chaos as they duel. Surprisingly, his attacks are so swift that they send Huangfu flying. He is no match for Bai, despite passing the immortal test. Yunzi faints seeing the damage the two have caused, mainly Bai since he defeated Huangfu. However, instead of being angry, he asks Bai to train him, but is immediately rejected. Since Bai can't even fly in the Kai Refining Realm, he has to eat pills to prolong his life. But Huangfu tells Bai that he knows the secret to his Foundation Establishment realm. This intrigues Bai and he grabs his arm, offering him to come along. He doesn't know what the secret is, but he just got it from someone in the Blessed Sect who told him to give it to Bai. However, Yunzi is petrified because of the loss and the cost to repair it. Bai gives Huangfu a death stare, so he promises to pay double for all the damages. Only then, Yunzi agrees to translate the secret paper for Bai. Just when he is offering tribute, he is spooked by someone, and it turns out to be Zhu Ling from the Hades realm, who is apparently a ghost. He asks him to give up since it's been 3,000 years, but he is determined, even if he has to eat a pill every 50 years to prolong his life. The ghost is promised a promotion if he takes Bai to the ghost world. He challenges him that if he wins in a fight against him, he is taking him from the land of living. Yunzi is seen praying, but Bai tells him it is useless since he has been doing it for 3,000 years now. So he gives him the herbs he ordered, and then tells him to repair his roof since it got damaged when he was fighting with Zhu Ling. After that, he sends him flying out the roof and shows off his transformation skills to Yunzi as he turns into a girl. So Yunzi then goes on to find the Celestial Heart herb for Bai. After a while, Bai throws up when he is dropped off on a flying sword, and he is now even more determined to reach the Foundation level so he can fly. Just then, a bunch of strong men hide when they see Bai approaching. They are surprised when they see he is not scared of them. Just when they are about to attack him, they are kicked off and sent flying by a boy. The boy defeats them all, leaving them extremely wounded, and then tells Bai that he is on his way to kill demons. This intrigues him, so he decides to follow the boy. Later, they end up in a creepy dark cave, which is covered in green goo. The demon attacks the boy, but he quickly dodges it and slices it in half. However, a whole lot of them emerge, which makes it difficult for the boy to fight them all. So he runs away, killing as many as he can. As he heads to the entrance, he is blocked by a giant demon. Just as he was being held down by the demon, someone blew his head off. Turns out, it was Bai who cheerfully greeted him. After that, he finishes them all off using his sword swiftly. The little boy is impressed by this, but doesn't show it too clearly. The boy seems angry with the cultivators, and blames them for messing up the court of Shangshuan Kingdom. The boy introduces himself as Tang Wei and asks Bai to come with him to the kingdom, so that he can help kill demons and save the people. And he even promises him rich and fame, but he says to only treat him to dinner. Tang constantly stops Bai from eating since the food may be bewitched or drugged by the witches who run the Delight House. Just then, a woman enters whose name is Su Xiangsu. She is the leader of the Blessed Sect and the same woman who gave the secret to Huang Fu so that he could give it to Bai. So he tries to stabilize the situation between the two. Su says that it is not the first time that she has been framed for the rise of demons. After the boy leaves, Su tries to seduce Bai, but he is flustered and leaves in a hurry. In a change of scene, Bai is told all the herbs have been sold and bought by officers. He overhears two officers talking about the boy of the Lai family who is weak. Just when the officers are leaving, a child approaches them asking for food. But they don't know that the child is Bai who has transformed. Preparations are underway for the worship ceremony in the Shangshuan Kingdom. The Grand Master of this kingdom, Sima, is standing by the king while another man is painting. His painting is inappropriate to say the least. As the king tries on the robe, Sima tells him that it must be changed as it needs to be perfect. So the king orders to summon more manpower from the kingdom. So the two workers leave worried and irritated with Sima, who is brainwashing the king. However, they stop midway once they see that the eldest princess, Tang Ruwei, is in their way. Somewhere else, Bai has been spying on the palace and is shocked to see the resemblance between the princess and the little boy he met. The princess is convincing her father to not hold the worship ceremony, as it has never turned out well. But the king is madly in love with Su, and he tells the princess to marry Sima, to which she gets angry and points at him for being a cultivator who has ulterior motives. Sima offers Ruwei a rose, but she throws it away. However, her finger is pricked, but she waves off her finger, causing to spill her blood. After she leaves, he extracts the blood from the rose. Around nighttime, Bai is seen escaping the guards in his true form and enters the imperial tombs. After that, he searches through the tombs and takes different items such as the night pearl. He then sees the snake ball sword, but the moment he picks it up, he is attacked by multiple arrows. Just then, someone pulls him in from the secret wall. When he looks up to see, he finds the little boy from before, Tang Wei. They are both shocked to see each other. He tells Bai that the imperial tombs are somehow connected with the recent occurrence of zombies. They both head up the stairs to a giant luxurious door. Upon opening it, they see another tomb, which is the coffin of the founding emperor. But the scary part is that it is 100 years old, yet it is still so clean. They both look down to see red patterns forming around them. Bai says that it's a bloodthirsty array and it is unsafe, so they must escape. But he doesn't listen and tries to burn the coffin since he wants to save his kingdom. Bai confirms his suspicion that he is actually a princess, but she denies it, saying, "I am man." He forcefully feeds her the night pearl, which puts her in deep sleep. In a change of scene, they are back at the Delight House where the princess is tied up, and the other two are discussing how to break the array. She is going crazy hearing their suggestions when she finally breaks free and shouts at them for planning to hurt her father. It is revealed she is indeed the princess and has a conversation with Su. Su reveals a scar on her back, shocking the princess. In a change of scene, Su calls Bai back in to find the princess crying, but she agrees to their plan. The next day, Wei makes her crying father promise to not interfere in her marriage choice, or else she will make Su leave the kingdom, to which he happily agrees. We see that Su tells the princess her life story, that she is a child of a human and a monster king. Thousands of years ago, a war between humans and monsters broke out, but the result, she was born. He then tried to harm her too, though she was his daughter. He said she shouldn't have been born. He inflicted his wrath upon them, and as a result her mother sacrificed herself for Su. After that, Su was the only one of his children who fully inherited his monster bloodline, which is why the Monster King wants her back in the monster realm. In a change of scene, the kids are lined up on coffins. Among them is Bai hiding in pure disguise. Once the guards leave, he transforms into his true self, and he sprinkles some dust on the kids to wake them up. Meanwhile, the people of the kingdom have gathered for the worship ceremony, and Sima steps up and inaugurates the ceremony. With one tap on the ground, a staircase emerges from the ground, but nothing shows up, as the kids are gone. Instead, they come out awake and start cheering on the bride. Just then Sue shows up, causing confusion everywhere. She then proposes to the king and strictly tells the Grand Master Sima to inform the Monster King that she is not going back. Bai transforms in front of everyone, which gives Sima a shock. However, he flies up and his true face is revealed as his mask wears off. He turned out to be a tree monster who wanted to take Sue back, but seeing Bai has enraged him. The king faints as he sees the scene unfold. The Grandmaster is actually Kui Luo and he has a spider-like figure. The truth is that Bai killed his mother, which is why he is angry at him and wants revenge. Kui Luo continues to attack him even when Sue has interfered. They both engage in a vicious fight, but the outcome is hilarious as he carves furniture out of him and turns him into a chair. He then reveals that the bloodthirsty array won't stop. Just then, a huge red rose emerges from the ground. It was the princess's blood that activated the array, which means that she has inherited the bloodline of Dragon Ball. Blood spreads through the entire place, causing people pain and sucking their blood from them. The princess is the only one who can break the array, but she may die in the process. She goes down to break it off, but finds her ancestor standing on his tomb. She is angry at him and asks if he caused the zombie chaos, to which he agrees happily. She then slits her hand with a knife, causing blood to drip, which she uses to stop the array. But the stupid old man sucks the energy out of her, and the light from the array dims and Bai jumps right in to catch her. Just then, the man exerts power as the bloodline of the Dragon Ball has led him to the Golden Pill realm. The man goes flying into a wall with one blow from Bai. He then throws him up in the sky and then kicks him right back down. He is fierce and extremely violent with him as he throws him around, using all sorts of skills such as spatial, sword, and array. Bai ends up breaking every bone in the man's body and throws him back to his coffin. He then picks up Bridal Style as she gives him a thumbs up and brings her up. While Sue heals her, she tells Bai to burn the Imperial tombs, and then with one flick of a burnt paper, he burns it all. A flashback of Bai as a kid is shown, where he is in some ruins surrounded by dead demons. Just then a man appears from the sky, lending his hand to Bai and asking him to follow on the path of cultivation. In the present time, his ghost friend Ling appears. Bai blames him for not taking away the souls. After that, Ling jumps down to take the souls who were bound by the blood array. Sue arrives to say that Wei will be fine thanks to her blood of snake ball, and we see that Wei tasted it to find that there isn't much special about it. Sue explained the legend where a goddess and the immortal snake fell in love and gave birth to a daughter. This means Wei's blood is precious and must be kept a secret, since revealing it would put her in danger. Wei then wonders if Bai is really so powerful since he is stuck in the beginner realm. Sue explains that Bai is very unique, and even though he's in the beginner realm, he is respected by cultivators and demons as the sword master. He keeps the order, and if it wasn't for him the entire realm would be in chaos. Elsewhere, Ling explains to Bai that being reincarnated isn't so bad and urges him to stop resisting his fate. But he wants an extension on his life as he is not ready to be reincarnated, and explains that he is close to breaking through to the next realm. Ling laughs at how Bai has been saying the same thing for 3,000 years and points out how there are only 2 days left on his 10-day life extension as he disappears into a portal. Back at the kingdom, the emperor expresses his gratitude towards Bai for his help and asks that he take care of his daughter from now on. Bai tries to get out of it, but the emperor explains that she just needs to be trained a bit, and their children will be able to protect the kingdom for a long time. Wei points out that she just needs training and not a husband. Bai explains that he can't since he will be traveling a lot, but Wei says she won't be much of a bother. Bai is still hesitant, and Wei wonders if he is just afraid that she will surpass him. Their bickering is stopped with a celebration dinner, and the two later find themselves in bed. Bai explains that she is probably better off without him since her blood can make her a target. While traveling later, Bai is fighting a cloaked man, and we see that it is actually Ling who is there to explain that Bai's 10-day extension on his life has ended. Bai continues to beg for an extension, just then a pearl is thrown into his mouth. Consuming it prolongs his life for another 4 years and 355 days. So Ling must leave. It was thanks to Sue, but Bai complains about the bitter taste of the medicine. Sue becomes upset, but Bai explains that the document Fen gave him earlier has probably already been translated, and leaves Ling wondering why Sue bothers to help Bai so much. But she points out how Ling has always helped him as well. Elsewhere, Wei begs Yunzi to have Bai train her, but he explains that he doesn't make those decisions. After hearing how she wants to protect her people, he agrees to help convince him. but explains that Bai is training currently and no one dares to bother him. Yunzi then explains that there might be a way to see him though, and states how they have recently been attacked by thunder beasts, and the repairs have left them with little money, and hints at how her buying something to take to him would help her cause. So Wei agrees to send over a large sum. The next day, Yandy gladly gives her a ride up the mountain by his anoint to see Wei, and demands that all the elders leave since they're just there to hear gossip. Wei explains that they were carrying gifts for him, but he only cares about the partially translated document that Yunzi has brought. Bai asks that he leave but is surprised to see that he has left Wei. That night Bai explains that students will arrive the next day to take her down the mountain, but she states that she wants to stay and be a student. Bai then turns his attention to the document but notices that the translation is just as hard to read as the original. However, it turns out that Wei has experienced interpreting inscriptions and he asks her to translate the rest. But he is impatient with her though, and she says that she might as well just go back to being an idle princess. Before she can leave, Bai stops her and agrees to make her a student. Later Bai greets Wei, who he now calls his precious student, as she translates the scripture that holds a secret to his potential breakthrough. Bai brings her soup which spills and enrages her, so he returns moments later to find that she has finished the translation. But he can't read her writing, so she explains that the writing records the existence of someone referred to as the Land Immortal, who is a person free of life and death. But the writing doesn't say anything about how Bai can reach the next realm, and he can't believe that's all it says and assumes that Hyungfu must not have copied everything on the stone scripture. So he decides that he must go copy it himself and then tells Wei to prepare for some training outside. So they wait for the ride and Fang arrives to explain that he rushed there immediately without even changing clothes. First, he is shocked to hear that Bai wants to go to a place called the Great Desolation, since he just came from there. Hyungfu explains that he is no idiot and is sure he copied the stone tablet exactly. But Bai convinces him to go by saying he may find a way for himself to reach a higher realm, and tells Wei that it will be her training. She is now hesitant, since it sounds like a dangerous place, but Bai promises to protect her. However, the journey is a bit long and they encounter several exotic animals along the way, in which one of them is actually quite ferocious. But Hyunfu takes care of it easily, as he isn't humble about it or how he passed the Immortal's test. Bai points out that his Immortal test was less severe since he has not done much evil, and those that have done worse things have a more difficult test, sometimes even resulting in the Immortals killing them. They finally arrive at where Hyunfu thinks the tablet was, but there is nothing there except sand. Wei finds a cute set of eyes, but Bai must save her when it turns out to be a vicious monster. Hyunfu kills it but asks Bai to roll in the sand since he now stinks. Wei is injured though, and the blood from her wound activates a spell that reveals the stone tablet. The tablet is much larger than Hyunfu remembers, and Bai asks Wei to begin translating the second she touches the tablet. But an earthquake occurs and an entire city emerges from the ground. The place is quite frightening though, and people can be heard but not seen. Wei mentions how the tablet said something about the Land Immortal being good at spatial magic, and they assume the voices might be from souls in the Hades realm. Bai wonders if she saw anything about having a breakthrough, but she didn't have time to read the rest of the tablet. As they go further into the city, a loud bell can be heard, and Hyunfu points out that their spiritual energy is being taken away. They notice that Bai ended up ahead of them and realize that her low cultivation level had resulted in her being attracted by the bell. He attempts to get Wei to gather her spiritual energy, but she doesn't, and Bai decides to counteract the sound with his own sword. It works, and he tells Hyunfu to get her away from the sound of the bell. Bai finds a tablet so that he can copy the writing. It's simple enough at first, but the tablet starts sinking faster and Bai has to rush. He manages to finish, but Wei has lost most of her spiritual energy, and we see a spell activate as they leave. Back up by his mountain, Hyunfu and Yunzi check to see how well Wei is recovering. Bai emerges to tell them that they are being too loud, and that Wei will make a full recovery since he gave her some of his spiritual energy. Bai hands them a copy of the stone tablet and instructs them to find someone to translate it immediately. Elsewhere, one of the orbs released from the spell at the stone tablet traverses some land and enters a tree. A while later, two travelers find that the area where the tree was now has a large building in its place, and a look inside shows a mysterious person in a robe sitting on a throne.